leading up to this game, the players were talking about fighting, competing, going after it. How well do you think they did that?
They did, but I told them after the game we added some. The focus on our offense was a little bit different, how we were going to play. And we were going to go back to some of my old school dribble drive stuff. And I said, how did he do? And they went, wow, whose fault is that? It's my fault. I'm still figuring this team out. What we do with Oscar, how we get – you got to get to 75 or 80. If you're not getting to 75 or 80, you're not going to go on a run at the end of the year. You're just not. And that means if you're not making threes, what else are you going to do to make baskets? A lot easier if you make threes. Today we were what? 8 for 15. But we were at the rim, which is what we were trying to do. So, and again, I told Hubert after that's by far the best we've played, and we're still trying to figure it out. Sevier hasn't been close to that. Maybe the Duke game, but the end of the Duke game, he turned it over, bad shot, did some things. He played throughout. But Kellen made shots. Keon, I took him out. I'm not. He's held to a high standard here. And it has nothing to do with made baskets. You can go 1 for 5, but go get 5 rebounds, go tip dunk one, dive on the floor, take a charge, and you stay in a game. And part of that, they can't judge themselves by what's happening for them offensively because you end up being in the tank half the time. Because you're only going to make half the shots. The other half, you're in the tank. And it's not just him. We got a lot of guys that judge their game versus baskets and shots.
Cal, I think Tennessee had 22 layups against them. You guys had 20 layups and dunks. It seemed like a big part of today was Sevier kind of sticking to the plan. He didn't take any bad shots. Everything seemed like everything you guys wanted to do.
Well, when you go to the dribble drive, you're opening up the court. And that's what happened. It wasn't just him. I mean, we had a bunch of guys get to the lane. And, we worked on it for 3 days. But the problem is, the good news is most of my time the last days before this was spent on us. Not a whole lot spent on Ohio State. I got on the plane and figured we may play North Carolina. Let me watch 2 tapes. So on the way out, I saw 2, but did not know that's who we were playing. And I said, I'm going to watch another one because we would have played somebody out here. I'm glad it was North Carolina. We needed to go against a good team to figure out what we are. And I watched them, against Purdue. Let me tell you something. They had Purdue beat. It was touch and go. Tennessee got them, but guess what? It was a back-to-back game. It was a follow-up game. Because I said, when did they play this? The next day. Well, okay. And Tennessee got them pretty good. But they're going to be fine. They got size. They got guard play. They didn't make shots today. And what happens is, just like us at Notre Dame, when you go 1 for 13, 2 for 19, you're going to be in the 60s. Just what you're going to be. And now you got to hope the other team is as bad as you are.
John, Willie Ramirez with the Associated Press. I had asked Sevier this about if there was somewhat of a statement game. They came out with a purpose, and at the end he made mention that the guys got together and talking like, we never know when they're going to wake up and say, this may be the last game they're playing. You just got done saying you told Hubert that this was the best game they played. What was it about today that you saw in your team that they came out with such a purpose?
Well, they had 3 great days of practice, and they were focused. Today, we came in and shot around this morning, and it was their choice. Do you guys want to go? They said, yeah, let's go. I said, well, we'll get over there at 9 and be done by 9:30. And they came over. We had a great shoot-around. So they were ready to play. I told them this. Feel good that you're playing. There's all kind of teams that aren't playing. Feel good that you are playing basketball. And, we don't know where all this stuff goes, but, my hope is we are able to mitigate, wear the mask, go get the booster. We can mitigate. And then the other thing is if you have 8 guys play. Now, I don't want to hear, well, I have 3 starters out. So do I. Let's play. We got 8 guys, healthy guys, and we got a coach. Let Brad coach the game. I want him to coach anyway. I'll make the other guys be sick and step off and let my son coach. So, I mean, we can't, look, last year was the most miserable thing I've ever been through. Forget about, my whole worry was mental health. My whole worry was keeping guys safe. We went a whole year, not a player or a staff member got the virus. We went a whole year. And so the basketball, yeah, we weren't very good. We were 8-8 in our league, but we weren't very good for us. But I wasn't even worried about basketball. I don't want to be near that. And if guys are out, let's just keep coaching and playing.
Cal, about that, I know you said all your guys were vaccinated earlier in the year. How concerned are you about contact tracing? Do you have to start separating guys at this point? Just how are you going to manage all this moving forward?
We're going to talk about it. I'd like them to get boosters. I'm not sure any of them really do, but I'm going to try to get them, go do a booster. I did a booster shot, and I did scream, but I did take the shot. And, we just got to do it. I mean, but if anybody, I can't force them. If anybody chooses not to do it, they don't do it. I mean, that's what it is. But our kids have been good. I mean, they were good last year. Now, we never became a team last year because we were separated. At least this year, if we do separate, we're okay. And I said it a year ago. If you were a veteran team that knew each other, you could be separated and be fine. If you were all new guys and you couldn't be together, you'd never become a team. Can't trust each other. And we never got close. This team, it's a good group. And I've said it, everybody was like, well, what if they go out and lose to North Carolina? We lost to Ohio State out here 2 years ago. But because of how we played, I knew we'd be fine. This game, I'll be honest with you, I never looked up. I didn't know we were up that much until about 3 minutes to go. I couldn't find a score, but I didn't want to embarrass myself, like, where's the score? So I didn't say it. I just kept coaching. And then I looked up, and I'm like, wow. So if you wonder why I was getting on guys with the score the way that was, because I didn't know what the score was.
John, you mentioned the three-point shooting and shots not falling for Carolina, but a lot of that was the way you guys defended them. I was wondering what you saw in terms of how you guys were so effective in limiting them from having those open looks.
The one that they're 2 4-men, 13 and 45, Menick. They are as good at shooting big men as there are. So we had to say, well, what do you want to give up? You got to give up something. You pick your poison. And we didn't want those two. And then when we had one late where he got that 3 off, I wanted to kill the guy because what are you doing? But we did most of the game. We did what we needed to do. The second thing I'll tell you, when their guards dance, they're about to shoot a 3, and it goes. Like, I've watched enough tape in the last 24 hours to see that shot, deep threes. Both he and Jackson can really shoot. That's why they're going to be good. They got big guys. They can shoot the ball. The thing that scared me was when I watched it, they shoot the ball and sometimes put 5 shooters on the court. We don't put 5 shooters on the floor. As a matter of fact, we have shooters. We just didn't have makers for a while. No one would make a shot. We shot it and we just didn't make it. And so I worried that if they're making shots and we're not, what that would do to this team. But we never – I loved our aggressiveness. We were going to press. One of the questions, one of the staff said to me, why would we press? They're going to run anyway. And I'm like, because we're going to get into their legs. This is how we play. So we're going to play the way we play. If it's not good enough, we'll learn.
Do you feel like this was the response you were looking for in terms of the team finding the swagger that you wanted, or at least a foundation for it?
Yeah, the biggest thing I did prior to the game individually and then in front of the team was Severe, lead us. It's not based on how you're playing, Severe. Lead us. If you're playing great, lead us and get everybody involved. If you're not making shots or you're a little confused, or lead us. Lead. And that's what he did today. There was only one play that he tried to get another basket. And I looked at him and he knew, I got you. He could have passed it to somebody. But when he does that, you know, and Oscar, I didn't see Oscar's final numbers. Just 16 and 12. Yes. And he didn't play, what? What's that? Yeah. Yeah, I did. I told him after, it's nice, we know we can play without him now. We just got to, again, maybe play a little different, but we can play without him. We got good players, really good, who are good kids. So we got, some stuff going on tomorrow. We're not going to get in until late. One of the things we're going to do with the kids, I don't know if you know, I had invited Mookie Betts to the game today. And the reason I invited him to the game is my cousin, TJ Friedel, was moved up to the Reds. And his first hit was a home run in the majors against the Dodgers. What did Mookie do? Went and got the ball and told him, I'm going to give you a bat, give me that ball, and then presented it to TJ. Now, what is Mookie Betts going to get from that? Why would, you know what that tells me? He's got a good heart. And he's got a good heart for people. He was getting nothing in return. TJ went up, and TJ was here tonight too, and I got those together, their families and wives. But I told the team the story because, we're going through in West Kentucky right now some miserable stuff. And there's shoes. I tell everybody in West Kentucky, there's 10,000 shoes coming tomorrow. We got 11 families tomorrow later in the day that we're going to do Christmas for. I want these kids to do stuff where they get nothing in return, to understand what true joy is. Now, this would have been a hard deal tomorrow if North Carolina would have beat our brains in. But we were able to get out of the gym alive, go back, and even though it makes no difference, it kind of does. So probably shouldn't do this, but I'll tell you, we're going to, tomorrow morning, Mitch, myself, Darius Miller, and Jack Givens are going to go to West Kentucky in the morning as these shoes are being delivered, Samaritan's Feet. So we're going to go early in the morning, and I believe that Manny set it up, and FEMA and the governor and all that, to just be there. And I wasn't going to announce anything. We were just showing up. But, it's where all of us, and I think Mitch is going to have Kevin Saul from Murray State and his son Scott going to meet us there. So we, just want people to know we care. And we know, and it's not going away. So, and I want my kids to feel it. With all that's going on, I just don't want to take the kids down there with the COVID and everything. But anyway,